Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall-Gruyter. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall-Gruyter.
Welcome, everyone. I hope you're having an amazing day. I'm thrilled and honored to be connecting in with you. Can you believe we are almost halfway through February? Oh my goodness, the year is going by so quickly. And it's so important that we are taking time to stop, pause, be purposeful, be mindful, so the year doesn't slip away from us. Those hours and days and months can move by so quickly. And today we have an opportunity to purposely, mindfully stop, pause, be poured into, so that as we get ready to go back out into the world, we can do so on purpose and with great purpose. And that helps us move forward those things that matter most. And to support us today, I have amazing guests that can walk beside us to help us spring forward, to keep that forward momentum going throughout the year and throughout our life, starting today. And in order for you to get the most out of our time today, I should say, and the most time out of the experience today, you want to slow down a little bit. That's actually a secret. When you slow down, pause, and connect in, you can actually fine tune and go faster because you're doing so with purpose. You're doing so and making choices that are more effective for where you're wanting to go. So it can actually create more time and ease and flow in your life. But here's the key: choosing to be present, fully present. Not just your ears are kind of listening and hearing. I want you fully present, mind, body, soul, and spirit, so you can receive everything that is here for you today. And I know there is something here for you today by the very nature that you are tuning in. So be open, be willing to receive. Take this time, carve it out for you to receive, to be poured into. Those of you who are driving, please stay safe. Keep both hands on the wheel. Those of you who are able to, though, I want you to put both feet on the floor. Take a deep breath in through your nose, all the way to your toes, and then out through your mouth. Like through a straw. Beautiful. Take another breath. This beautiful breath, and keep breathing, brings oxygen to every cell in your body. It lowers your stress levels, your cortisol levels, which helps us release what is no longer serving, bring in what does. Helps us become very present and be open to hear. Have room and capacity to receive. When we have great oxygen throughout our body and throughout our cells, it creates clarity of thinking. A lot of times we're not even breathing deeply. The pace of the day can be so fast. So taking time mindfully throughout the day to really pause and breathe takes just a moment and can shift all of those things inside of you, which then can shift those things outside of you. So as you're breathing, take a moment, put one hand on your heart, one hand on your head, bringing you all in, mind, body, soul, and spirit. Beautiful. Close your eyes. You're absolutely safe. And in this space, let's take a moment and check in. What is it that you need? What is it that will support you, serve you, empower you? What is it that you really, really need today and are willing to receive to support you real time on your journey? What is it you need? And are willing to receive because you absolutely have choice. Please note I didn't ask how. That's a different conversation. This is just identifying what it is that you need and are willing to receive. Beautiful. Receive that information. Come back into the room, eyes open as you take a breath. Fully present. Wonderful. And take a moment to write down what you received, the information, the insight, what it is that you need today and are willing to receive. This helps you start to bring it into reality, to co-create it, to identify it, keep it top of mind, because we are so good at getting distracted by shiny objects. It's easy to get distracted and forget what it is that we need. And here's the extra credit bonus opportunity for those who like that. I like gold stars. I like extra credit. For those of you like me that like to take things to that next level, here's what I want to encourage you to do is be excited and leaning in with anticipation at the wonderful, amazing way this need will be met that you never even saw coming. That you get to be surprised in the wonderful and creative way that things line up to support you in that precious, important need that you have. Be willing to be surprised and open, actively on the lookout to receive exactly what it is that you need today. And perhaps during our time together today, there will be insights and informations or downloads that are helping meet those needs on your journey. We're going to go around our virtual room, and as we do so, I'm going to invite each of our amazing guest experts to just share 15 seconds, 10 seconds, what was laid on their heart when we took a moment to stop, pause, and listen. See if it adds a layer to what was laid on your heart. And with that, Dr. Michelle, I'd love for you to start. What was laid on your heart?
What was laid on my heart was to remember to take breath breaks. I can get so caught up and so busy and not take those breaks. And when you invited us to take that break, I said, oh, yes, that's what I need to remember. Like, maybe 4 or 5 a day. And it doesn't even have to be long, but just enough to recenter, because when I do that, the energy shifts.
Yes. Beautiful. I love that. Remembering to take breath breaks. And I like that you've even set a goal of how many to weave into your day. That's beautiful, because it does. It makes a huge difference. Thank you. Beautiful share.
You're welcome.
How about you, Cynthia? What was laid on your heart?
I got love, and to see the love coming to me.
Oh, I like that. I love love.
It was kind of cartoonish with these little eyes, like 2 eyes, and blowing kisses with big hearts coming my way all over, up, down, all around, that to be aware of how much love is already coming to me and to be open to receive it.
Oh, how beautiful. I love that. And I was thinking with Valentine's Day just around the corner, that's perfect.
True. I didn't even think about that.
Beautiful. It's so beautiful.
It was neat because it was like an animated picture.
Oh, I love that. So there's a lightheartedness to it, and a joy and a fun, a playfulness. That's beautiful. And that remembering how much is already around you and being open to receiving that really beautiful share. Thank you.
Thank you.
And how about you, listeners, as we get ready to go to our first commercial break, I want to invite you to use this time, these 2 minutes, as these beautiful commercials are playing in the background with informations and updates and things we want you to be aware of. You can be listening to those, but choose to be present. Take one of those breath breaks. Give yourself time to really receive and go deeper into what it is that you need and are willing to receive. And perhaps it's even, I liked what Cynthia shared, that there's this reminder of maybe even recognizing some of what is already around you, supporting you in that need, and being open to looking forward and receiving in an additional way really beautiful. So as we get ready to go to this moment, these 2 minutes, these are just for you. Enjoy this time. Enjoy being still, listening and receiving. And we'll be continuing our conversation in just 2 minutes.
Be sure to friend us on Facebook. You can do it right now. Visit facebook.com/Voice America or search for us at keyword Voice America.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Get Unchained. Tune in every Monday for Jane Unchained on the Voice America Influencers channel, featuring nationally recognized best-selling author, TV journalist, and social media influencer Jane Velez Mitchell. This program takes you inside a trending lifestyle that's the next wave of human evolution. It all starts on your plate. If you want to revolutionize your life, get happier, more energized, then discover the secret. Tune in to Jane Unchained Mondays at 10 a.m. Pacific Time and 1 p.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America Influencers channel. Rebecca Hall Greider's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Have you had a chance to check out Voice America's online magazine and blog? If you love our hosts and shows, check out articles that give an even deeper perspective, plus topics about health and fitness, movie reviews, philosophy, business tips and tactics, spirituality, positive thought, current events, and even more about your favorite host. It's just a click away at blog.voiceamerica.com. That's blog.voiceamerica.com. The Voice America Press Blog. All access, all the time. We don't follow, we lead. Join us, the Voice America Influencers channel.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Greider. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes, your breath break during the show, an opportunity to be poured into and to receive. And you're going to have those opportunities throughout the show. And here's part of the reason why. So inside tip here. When we are given the opportunity to stop and breathe and process on a cellular level what's being shared with us, it actually starts to become part of who we are, instead of on the to-do list that you're somehow trying to fit into your busy life. If you give yourself time to actually process even 2 minutes at a time, it will help you move forward really powerfully. So we've built them into the show. So take advantage of those as we lead you through them throughout our time together today. Well, welcome back. We've been talking about springing forward. Got to hear from our amazing guests on our heart level in the opening segment. And now we're going to go a little bit deeper. But let me give you a little bit of background information about our first guest expert. And then we're going to have her share some amazing information and insights with us. So lean in to our amazing Cynthia Stott. She is a best-selling author, international speaker coach, and global visibility influencer. And she originally was terrified of public speaking and visibility, not her. And now she helps entrepreneurs and speakers from around the world to powerfully overcome their fears and be visible and make money doing what they love. She believes your people are waiting for you. Please lean in and warmly welcome the powerful and dynamic Cynthia Stott. Welcome!
Woo, thank you, Rebecca. I'm so excited to be here.
You are so welcome. I'm excited and thrilled to have you here. I hope you felt the arms up as we were welcoming you to our beautiful stage, and wanted to start our conversation with why is the powerful work that you do personally so important to you?
To be seen and heard and understood and witnessed is so important. And I was terrified, like you said earlier, of being seen, being heard, being witnessed. And I know that if you have a calling lay on your heart, that you have people who are actually not only waiting for you, but praying for you. And I want you to be able to reach them.
And I can hear that on a very deep level with you. So it's not just words, but it really echoes out from the very ember of who you are, that you believe that, see that, and know that. Really, really powerful. Well, I know, Cynthia, you have amazing content so that you want to share with us today. But we actually have some callers that have some questions they wanted to ask. So is it okay if we transition over and bring a couple of our amazing listeners online?
Absolutely.
Okay, it looks like Barbara is first. So, tech team, if we could bring Barbara on the line, I'd love to welcome her to the show.
Hello.
Hi, Barbara. Welcome.
Hi, Barbara.
How are you doing today?
Great. How are you?
I'm good. Oh, is this Barbara?
Yes, it is.
Welcome. I'm excited to have you joining us. It's been a while since we had you on the show, so I love that you're calling in. And I know that you have a question for Cynthia, so I wanted to give you an opportunity to ask it.
Well, Cynthia, I know how helpful you were for me, and just wanted you to expand on what your offerings are.
Beautiful. And then, Barbara, do you mind sharing your full name and what you do? And then I'll have Cynthia answer your beautiful question.
Well, my name is Barbara Gross, and I'm a motivational humorist, and I speak about how to turn a communication mistake or an unexpected event into a positive outcome. And I also have a book called The Humorous Adventures with Barbara.
Beautiful. I love it. I love it. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for calling in. Cynthia, I'm going to hand the floor over to you. We'd love for you to share just a little bit about your offerings. And I know at the end of the show, we're going to let you share how people can go deeper and connect with you. But if you could give a brief overview, that would be great.
Awesome. Thank you, Barbara. And Barbara. And I love supporting people like you to get their message out to a broader group of people, because I really believe that your people are waiting for you. So I have a speaker boot camp where you can take a 7-minute speech and really shift the delivery. I can't remember if you took that course or not, but you get to speak your 7-minute signature speak 3 times in one day, shifting each time. And it's quite beautiful. So that's my main one. And then I also have Speak from Your Heart and Impact Your Audience, all ways that you connect with people in person or online on stage.
Beautiful. I love that, because it's so important to be able to connect when you're in person as well as online, and it can be a little bit different. So that's great. Thank you so much, Cynthia. Thank you, Barbara, for calling in. Great to hear from you. And we have a second caller on the line. So are you up for another question, Cynthia?
Absolutely.
Okay, it looks like we have Karina online. So welcome, Karina. I'd love for you to introduce yourself and then ask your question.
Hi, Cynthia. Thanks for the invitation. I completely appreciate that. I am Karina. I am an intuitive life coach that helps people find their purpose and get them on the right track. And I use astrology. And so this is an important season coming up here for us. As many of you know, it is Mercury retrograde coming up this weekend. And it is in Pisces. So, yeah.
Beautiful.
So this is really a great time for us to be meditating and resting to manifest for that spring forward coming up in March.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that reminder and that warning so we're not caught off guard. That's beautiful. And then did you have a quick question for Cynthia?
Sure. Cynthia, what do you think this ending of the year, this passing of the decade, and what is your goals for this new year of 2020, which is literally right around the corner?
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, yes, winter is a dying off and spring is a new beginning. And I'm really feeling that in my life. I'm very much closing the chapter on certain things that I'm actually doing, or more even how I'm doing them. And then I'm opening to new things and new ways of doing. And sometimes that's a very uncomfortable kind of, like a child trying to learn to walk. And so it can be uncomfortable, but I am so full of hope that we're going to have a global shift this summer, end of July, beginning of August. And I just want to make myself ready for that, to support that, and to move forward together.
Yes, I'm super excited about that.
Beautiful.
Opening a new chapter or two.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you calling in, Karina. I appreciate that perspective and insight. And we also are looking forward to that powerful, positive global shift. So it looks like we have one more guest online, but also before I bring them on, I want to make sure, Cynthia, that you're able to share a little bit about, because this is so core to you, about why you believe our people are waiting for us, and then I'll bring our additional guest online.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, just like two sides to the coin, I believe if there's a calling that's been laid on your heart, that actually on the other side of that, people are calling to you. And actually their prayers, their desire for what you have to offer them literally is bringing and pulling forth from inside you, deep inside you, if you allow it, so that you can serve them in a deeper way, and that serving will serve you and them. It's beautiful. It's not a zero-sum game. It is win-win for you, for your people, and the world when you listen to that deep inner calling and passion.
Thank you for sharing that. And listeners, I want to give you a moment to feel in. And if you are feeling that prompting, that pulling, it's actually in response to a need that is already there. As Cynthia's been sharing, and being willing to lean in, being willing to say yes is a response to that. And you would not be called if you weren't needed. So really listen to that pull and that call in your heart. And then we do have one more guest. Are you up for one more guest question?
Absolutely.
because you have choice. So I want to make sure I'm honoring that. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. So then if we could bring, it looks like Trevor, if we could bring Trevor on the line. And Trevor, I'd love to welcome you and have you ask your question.
Okay, thanks. How are you today?
I am great. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. I'm excited to hear two of my favorite people on your show. And
they're amazing.
I wanted
they
to
are.
Ask, Thanks. My question is for Dr. Pedicolis.
Oh, perfect. So this is So let me just stop for a moment. So Dr. Michelle, listen in, and if you could write down his question, because we're going to bring her on next, and I'd love for her to be able to answer your question then. But if you could ask it, I'd love for her to get ready. That's great.
Sure.
So Trevor, ask your question.
I want her to share why being vulnerable when you're giving a speech is important. And if she has any tips on how to feel the emotions that go with the story that you're talking about that's vulnerable.
Oh, beautiful. Wonderful. So I've written that down too, and we'll have Dr. Michelle address that and talk to that during our next statement section. And Trevor, I didn't know if you wanted to introduce yourself, share where you're calling from, and a little, I want to give you that opportunity. We appreciate you calling in and participating.
Thanks, sure. Well, my name's Trevor Justice. I'm an entrepreneurship speaker and entertainer, and I'm calling from Oakland, California.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate it and for listening. And we will definitely bring your question into our next segment. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks.
Absolutely. And then, Cynthia, I'd like to ask one more question, if I could. And as we talked about how that calling and it's being two sides of the coin, are people waiting for us? How does that tie into us being able to spring forward? I'd love for you to share how that ties together and maybe how we can apply that to support us in springing forward.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love the spring forward metaphor, and I'd like to tie it into another metaphor that if you're looking for a needle in a haystack, the best way to find it is with a magnet, right?
Exactly.
And so when you tap into who you are and what you're meant to offer, and what the people who are waiting for you want from you, because sometimes it's a little bit different than you think initially, but just really tapping into it, then you become a magnet. And your people who are waiting for you will be attracted to you and will see you and will come to you rather than you trying to figure out where they are and who they are and all of that kind of left brain stuff that you have to do. Just be the magnet, and that will spring you forward in your business and your life because you're going to be more joyful and satisfied with what you're doing and how you're doing it and who you're doing it with.
And that just feels so beautiful that we can be. We don't have to push so hard or try to create or chase. We can become that magnet and really allow, and that lets us spring forward. So really beautiful. It feels wonderful. I think sometimes we make things harder than they need to be. So I love this important reminder. Again, that slowing down, being purposeful and mindful and being that magnet will help us spring forward. Beautiful share. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have one more second to share about how that also ties into vulnerability? I'm looking forward to hearing what Dr. Michelle has to say. But vulnerability is a
if it can be really fast, because we are running just a little bit behind, so that would be perfect.
Sure. So if you can tap into and be more vulnerable, you will become a bigger, brighter beacon and magnet.
I love that. And that takes more pressure off too, because we can share more of who we truly are. Love it. Love it. Beautiful share. Thank you for adding that additional information. Great value. We are getting ready to go to our next commercial break. And as we do that, I want to encourage you to take these 2 minutes to stop, pause, breathe, and be. Really start to feel like what it is to be that magnet, to be more of who you are as you're listening to that pull in your heart. And we'll look forward to talking to you in just 2 minutes.
Think you've seen everything there is to see in online television? Let us surprise you. Visit voiceamerica.tv today for sports, health, business, and more on demand 24/7.
Rebecca Hall Greider's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Sustainable success is just around the corner. If you are an entrepreneur, business leader, or anybody looking for their next level of success, tune into Sustainable Success with host Chris Salem. Did you know that the path to success is a long path that started many years ago? The path you started on then determines what is happening now. Chris and his amazing guests in their field will help you navigate the path to sustainable success every Thursday at 12 noon Eastern Time and 9 a.m. Pacific on the Voice America Influencers Channel.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Tune in to the Voice America Variety channel on the Voice America Talk Radio Network. Voice America Variety broadcasts a diverse array of topics, reaching a global community. Our experts come from all walks of life, and the topics they discuss are everything from current events, arts and entertainment, leadership, parenting, relationships, self-improvement, career advice, and a variety of other topics. Check us out today. You're sure to find something of interest. Voice America Variety. Talk on today's hot topics.
Change starts here. Change starts now. Join us, the Voice America Influencers Channel.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Greider. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes, taking time to breathe, process, receive, be, and see what is pulling at your heart. We're going to continue our conversation. I'm excited to bring our next amazing guest on, and she's going to be sharing powerfully as well as answering Trevor's questions. So, Trevor, again, thank you for calling in. We're excited to have you joining in, and we're looking forward to having Dr. Michelle address and add some insight around your inquiry. But before we get started, I want to make sure I introduce Dr. Michelle so you know a little bit about her. So Dr. Michelle Pedicola is an international best-selling author, a #1 international best-selling author, an award-winning national speaker, and transformational life coach. She has a PhD in sociology and psychology with over 30 years of coaching experience. She has produced an award-winning 3-part documentary series that's been seen in multiple countries around the world called Secrets of Life and Death. And she's passionate about helping you live and die without regrets. Can you please lean in and warmly welcome the powerful and dynamic Dr. Michelle Pedicola? Welcome to the show.
Oh, Rebecca, thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm really looking forward to this.
You are very welcome. I'm thrilled to have you joining us today and looking forward to our conversation. You always have such powerful insights and information to share and support us on our journey. But I'd love to start our conversation with why. Why is this powerful transformational work that you do personally so important to you?
It's personally important to me because for almost 48 years of my life, I was totally disconnected from who I was because of an early childhood emotional wound that shut me down. Cynthia was talking about how we want to attract the people that we're meant to serve. But if we don't deal with the emotional wounds, when we send our message out, it's weak. The signal is weak and held back by our own fears of not being worthy or not being good enough. And so that is the work that I do, is to empower other potentially powerful people. I mean, we are all powerful. It's just these early emotional wounds that hold us back. And very briefly, the reason is we're, as far as I'm concerned, we're all spirit, and we come in hugely powerful, but we enter these bodies and they have their own agenda and they have their own needs. And when we get that into balance between our brilliance and our bodies, that's when we can really shine.
So beautiful. I want to give everyone a moment just to take that in. It was really powerful. I appreciate you sharing your personal why and then a little bit about what you do and how you support and help people. And as we're breathing that in and that truth that we are brilliant and meant to shine, I'd love for you to talk a little bit about Trevor's question about how do we, when we speak, tap into our vulnerability and feel those emotions, and how does that all fit together and still be able to shine and make the difference that we're called to make? I'd love for you to talk about that.
I want to give a call out to Cynthia because in one of her classes, I went from being guarded to being authentic. And it was a huge breakthrough, and I hadn't even realized it. But there are subtle ways in which we hide who we are because we're actually afraid of being rejected. And that's not a small thing. I mean, we're actually wired to want people to like us.
Yep.
But when we are authentic, when we are vulnerable and who we really, really are, that's when we are unique. And that's when we call the people we're meant to serve. That's when they're able to recognize us. So that's why you want to be vulnerable. Because when you're vulnerable, when you are who you really are, when you allow yourself to show your weaknesses and not worry about being rejected, that's when people connect with you. Otherwise, you're just another face.
Yeah. No, this is so beautiful. And I feel like it ties in so powerfully to the magnet that Cynthia was mentioning, that we're able to really tap into that and be that and not be so worried about having that shell around us or having that being so worried about people seeing us a certain way. And I'd like to tap into the other part of his conversation or his question around how to feel the emotion, because I think it's one thing to let people in and to be more transparent about who we are, but how do we feel that emotion as well when we're speaking and when we're connecting and shining? How do we do that?
Well, of course, that's the work that I do. I enable people to tap inside and connect with their heart. And for those people who are really guarded, they may need to do some work in order to open that up because it's scary. And there's an inner child in there that's saying, oh, no, don't. That's the work I do. But as an individual, what I invite people to do is what I call emotional hygiene. That is a regular practice of checking in with yourself and noticing what you're feeling. Now, the problem with me is that I was clueless. I had no sensory awareness of what was going on in my body. I was so outwardly focused that I actually had to take many, many steps and do a lot of healing before I could actually get back into my body again.
Thank you for sharing that it is a journey and that we can get support on that journey, and that it's perhaps not one to take alone if we aren't quite sure how we're feeling and we have some of those protective layers in place. So I love that you provide support in that tender, important space to really help people connect in more fully with who they are so they can live and die without regrets. They're able to move forward in powerful ways. I love that. So tying into that even further, we talked about it from speaking and kind of connecting in. How does this help someone spring forward? How does this connecting more fully and authentically and knowing how we feel and releasing some of those protective layers, how does that help your clients become more successful? How does that help people spring forward?
When you are able to tap into your inner voice, when you're able to tap into your brilliance, and you can respond without fear, with courage, that's when you spring forward. We have a tendency to play it safe because of the emotional wounds. Right now, remembering what Karina said about this being a huge time of change, it's almost like we're all being called to step up onto a bigger stage and to make a bigger difference. And when you remember that's what's going on right here, right now, in this spring, this is unlike any other spring, then you start to get the courage that you need to realize, yes, it's scary, and yet what I need to do in this world is more important than my fear.
Yes. I want to just restate that again. What we need to do in this world. I'd love for you to repeat that. It was so powerful.
When you get in touch with your true mission, and by the way, I can help you do that in like 5 minutes. It's not a big, huge mystery. It's really right there. But when you get in touch with it and you allow it to grow inside of you, it provides you with the courage to move past your fear and to take the brave steps that you need to spring forward, to make a difference, to play on a bigger stage.
Beautiful. So that need, that calling, that purpose becomes bigger than the fear, and you are able to step forward. So I love that. And I love that you're saying it's not a big mystery. So we make it harder than it needs to be, which is probably not a surprise to some of our listeners that we can sometimes do that, make things harder than they need to be. So I love that reminder that it isn't. And it doesn't have to be this big mystery, but getting support can help us identify that sometimes. So that's great. So any other piece of advice that you want to share with our listeners today to help them spring forward in 2020 and beyond?
I wanted to give a little example of how you let your mission be bigger than your fear. So years ago, I made that film series. And there were many, many times when I wanted to give up because I would get feedback out there that was not encouraging. And I was afraid that I was going to fail and fall flat on my face. But because I had interviewed these people and I felt responsible to them, the mission of the film was more important than my fears. And that's why I finished the film. So that's what I'm encouraging people out there to do. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we are getting ready to go to our next commercial break. And as we do that, I want to encourage you to really feel into that mission. What is pulling at your heart? What is something that you feel a responsibility in a good way, and a pull to bring forward, and that gives you courage and excitement and inspiration and a willingness perhaps to feel fear and a little bit of discomfort. But what is being called forth is so important to you. You're willing to take those steps. What are those things? What is being placed on your heart? So as we go to our next commercial break, use these 2 minutes to support you to be able to feel in and listen to what's being placed on your heart. Think about what you wrote at the beginning of the show that you needed. See if that has shifted or there's been some support to help you on what you are wanting to bring forward and how you're wanting to be as you spring forward. And we'll look forward to talking to you in just 2 minutes.
Follow us on Twitter at VoiceAmericaTRN. Get the lowdown on guests, new shows, and your favorites. That's VoiceAmericaTRN. Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. That's EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
There's a new force to be reckoned with in talk radio. It's Not Just Talk Radio, hosted by LaTanya Jr. and co-hosts Tina Wynn and Tony Brown. Not Just Talk Radio is like a superhero, inspiring, problem-solving, and informing, packed with action-provoking conversations from news, movements, and social and politics issues. This program is about a wide range of voices and fresh points of view from experts, celebrities, and you, the listener. Not Just Talk Radio is broadcast live Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Pacific on the Voice America Influencers Channel.
Rebecca Hall Greider's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Become a member of VoiceAmerica.com. It's easy, and best of all, it's free. Start out by going to our homepage or any of our channels and click Register at the top. Once you've created an account and signed in, you can create your own custom library, opt into our newsletter, search by show, host, guest, or topic of interest, or browse millions of hours of content across all of our Voice America radio channels. Membership gets you more. Visit VoiceAmerica.com today to get started and tailor the listening experience to your taste.
We don't follow, we lead. Join us, the Voice America Influencers Channel.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Greider. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed these 2 minutes, that you had an opportunity to really breathe and receive and process everything that's been spoken and shared and has touched your heart and your spirit. And I want to encourage you that as we bring the show to a close, I would love for you to take a couple minutes instead of just rushing off into the day. Take 2 minutes, take 3 minutes to jot down any additional thoughts, notes, and breathe and choose how you're going to step forward with your next step. Don't let the day just suck you up into it and kind of run you. Give yourself a moment to breathe, focus, have clarity, and then choose who and how you're going to be as you step forward. Wonderful. And that can take just a minute or two. So I have so enjoyed our conversation with our amazing experts. I hope that you have as well. And as we're going to our last commercial break there, we had one more caller call in. So we'd like to work their question into the show, but we have very short time. So I believe it is Gary that has called in. So Gary, welcome. We have just a really short window of time, but we wanted to have you say hi and have an opportunity to ask your question.
Okay, thank you so very much. Michelle, you mentioned early emotional wounds. Do you have a suggestion as to what could be a very first easy next step for a person to take to begin to remove one of those early childhood wounds?
Great. Thank you for your question. Dr. Michelle, I'd love for you to answer that question.
The first step, thank you very much, Gary, for the question. The first step is to recognize what the emotional wound is. That is to identify what was the event. That's the first step. The second step is to allow the feelings to release around that. Again, that's the work I do. I guide people so that they can release those emotions in 2 minutes or less. Sometimes people are afraid that they're going to be washed over, they're going to be overwhelmed by it, but it doesn't have to be that way.
Beautiful.
So
Thank
once
you.
you release...
No, I thank you. So I'm going to make it a little bit of a cliffhanger because everyone's going to get to know how to connect with Dr. Michelle so you can learn what some of those additional steps are. But I love that first easy one is identifying, and then you can get support in releasing in those additional steps. So that's really beautiful. Thank you, Gary, for calling in. Thank you, Dr. Michelle, for sharing that information. And then I want to make sure I honor my promise to all of our listeners about how we can go deeper with our amazing experts. So let me switch back to Cynthia. I'd love for you to share how people can connect with you further and follow you.
Awesome. Well, Cynthia Stott, S like Sam, T like Tom, OTT. A lot of people say Scott, but it's Stott. And you can connect with me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and my website, which is cynthiastott.com. I have some free gifts there for you. And then my best email is Cynthia Stott, CYNTHIA, STOTT, DTM for Distinguished Toastmaster at yahoo.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing. And then Dr. Michelle, how can people connect with you and follow you?
Well, if they would like to have a talk with me to find out what their mission or legacy is for this purpose, this life, they can go to meet with Dr. Michelle with 2 L's.com and schedule a 15-minute call with me, and I will make sure that they get some time to identify what it is. And also, if they want some more ideas about how to release that emotional wound, they can get my free audio at releaseandthrive.com.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for making that available. And I love that both of our guests have offered free gifts. Who doesn't like a free gift to support us on our journey? And then Dr. Michelle, thank you for being willing to make yourself available to support our listeners in that powerful way. That's a real honor and a gift for all of us to be able to get the support of an expert in that way. So thank you, our amazing guests and our listeners. I just so appreciate you joining us and being part of the conversation and leaning in to you because each of you are an amazing gift. You are beautifully and wonderfully made on purpose and for a purpose. In fact, for such a time as now, 2020 needs you. Be willing to take those steps. Be willing to step into your mission. Be willing to share the gift of who you are out in the world. The world needs you. And that's the biggest positive impact you can make, is being willing to share the gift of who you are. So be willing to bloom where you are planted and shine. Have an amazing week, everyone. I'll look forward to talking to you next time. Bye.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall-Gruyter, next Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific, on the Voice America Influencers channel. And join us for a replay of the show every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific, on the Voice America Empowerment channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.